Are you serious? Are you serious? Get a cup of coffee and everybody just calm down because this is the Grey Poupon prophecy. Just hang with me on this, okay? You might remember this iconic commercial, Grey Poupon. And the man, who is this man? The myth, the legend. Well, I sat down with him, and it's an incredible story. Is it the Grey Poupon prophecy? Maybe so. I'll tell you about it in just a second. But first, let's put a shout out if we could right now for healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. As we age, our body's collagen production declines, leading to visible signs of aging like wrinkles, sagging skin, crow's feet, smile lines, and more. These effects start being most noticeable after age 40. But when our collagen levels are reaching their lowest, each year it gets lower by 1%. And research shows that collagen is responsible for a third of our skin's protein, providing the ingredients needed for structure and strength of our skin. That's why I'm telling you right now, there's a secret weapon. There is. It's called, go there, healthwithpaul.com. It's collagen. And guys, I've become obsessed with it. How much of this do you know about it helping your skin? This substance features 5 key collagen designed to replenish your skin's collagen levels. 5 types of collagen, plant and fish collagen. Maybe a little Grey Poupon wouldn't hurt. But anyway, this is incredible. Put it in your smoothie in the morning or in your coffee in the morning or in your, in the soup, 1 scoop in the soup, whatever you want to do. But guys, it's multi-collagen, and you can save 51% off if you click on that link below. Go to www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. You'll be glad that you did. Oh, yes, and we are coming into the Passover season, so prepare yourself. Many of you are already sending your Passover offerings in. The Passover, of course, is Saturday, April 12th through the Passover season through April 20th. This is the time to bring your best offering and receive the 7 blessings of the Passover. Incredible. Really is incredible. So I want you to find out more about that. Simply go and give as the Lord has blessed you, and he will bless you with the 7 blessings of the Passover. We have started a new podcast. Many of you know that. The new Paul Begley podcast. And I'm doing it with my son, sometimes with my other son, Bart. I'm doing it with my son, Paul Jr., other son, Bart. Sometimes it'll be Heidi. There'll be different ones of us interchanging with different guests. This is an incredible interview that we did that just went on the podcast this week with actor Craig Lidler, who is the Grey Poupon man, an incredible guy. He did a lot more than just the Grey Poupon. He was the Winston man. He was the Gorton's Fisherman. He was the guy in the yellow raincoat. This guy has done a lot of unbelievable commercials, but he's also been in many movies and TV shows like Dallas, Dukes of Hazzard, Laverne and Shirley, The Love Boat. It goes on and on and on. Okay. Plus movies like Blazing Saddles or Rosemary's Baby and several different movies and over 380 different commercials. Okay. But mostly he's a great guy, and he gave his life to the Lord at age 80. And he's a member of our church at Freedom Fellowship here in the Villages. An incredible story about how he met President John F. Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe. I want you to hear all this. Matter of fact, let me just do this. I'd like to bring that in right now if I could. Give me a second here. How do you do that? Why am I having a moment here? Give me a moment. Yeah, let me bring this in. I want you to hear this. It's incredible. And I interviewed, we interviewed, and this is and you can always go watch the Paul Begley podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Amazon Music. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on everywhere there are podcasts. Or you can watch it and listen to it on the Paul Begley Podcast YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, we got 685 subscribers, so we really need to get up to over 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't ever gone there, the link is below in this. Just go to the Paul Begley Podcast YouTube channel, okay? And you'll see all these incredible interviews that we're doing with all these different great people. It's really interesting, all right? It really is. Let's go there now, if we can. No, wait a minute. That's not the right one. But let's go there now, if we can, okay? And bring that into play. I want you to let's listen in to. It's a great interview. I think it's about an hour and a half long, but let's listen to about 10 minutes of it here. It's talk about this John F. Kennedy, incredible meeting with John F. Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe. Here we go.
Well, Pastor, you mentioned going back and listening to the 60s, 70s, and vinyl records. Craig, I wanted to ask you, kind of you getting your break into Hollywood and then working there in the 60s and 70s. I think we were talking a little bit before we started. You had a story about, and I'm guessing this was part of your big break, was when you were working President Kennedy's birthday party in the 60s. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And did that actually help you get your connections to get into Hollywood?
No, it had nothing to do with it. Well, it sort of leads in from my whole beginning back in Vero Beach. I got to the academy in 1961, graduated in 63. And I will maybe talk about this, Pastor. I obviously in Vero Beach, I had a very interesting life as well, working as a lifeguard and a cowboy, and working at the McKee Jungle Gardens where I wrestled the alligator by accident. But when I got to New York in 61, through 63, at 63, it was May. I was just about to graduate. Some people came to the academy and asked for some 8 or 10 people to wear tuxedos and be hosts at a famous person's birthday party. Didn't tell us who it was.
Didn't tell you who. Okay.
So we went to the Waldorf Astoria where it was, and we got there, and the whole block of Park Avenue was blocked off. There was no traffic, no people. I'm going, boy, this is weird. I mean, New York City, you never see that because it's like living in a rat race. I mean, that's real. Yeah. So we kept talking. The Secret Service came in, and I'm going, oh boy, this is really interesting. People are coming in, and I'm standing there at the entrance right in front of where Marilyn Monroe ended up singing to him. And I'm standing, the bleachers are up like this, and a lady left to me. She isn't from, 2 feet away. We started talking. She said, very sweet lady, reminded me of my mother. I mean, she's a pleasant lady. And she said, well, so what's your name? I said, Craig. And she said, well, Craig, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'm at the American Academy. They asked us to host, and I'm here. I'm studying to be an actor. And she said, oh, well, that's interesting. And I said, why are you here? And she said, well, my husband's part of the show. I said, is he an actor too? She said, no, it's Ed Sullivan. well, I mean, bang, I got up off the floor and I went, oh my gosh, but, so that, of course, that evening, that was one of the times, 2 times she sang John Kennedy. She sang to John for his birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Well, it became famous.
Oh, obviously. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm standing there, not 20 feet from Marilyn Monroe in a pin spot, singing the President John F. Kennedy, who's sitting not 10 feet above me with a big cigar in his mouth.
In a balcony, like.
Yeah, they had a little balcony overlooking it.
Smoking a big cigar.
Smoking a big cigar, and there's Pierre Solinger next to him, Bobby Kennedy.
Oh, my Lord.
Next to him. His wife was not there. Jackie was not there. And there's a story for that. I mean, he was having an affair with
Marilyn Monroe. Yeah,
and that's another
that's
thing.
another story.
But that's why she wasn't there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just watching. See, I can't remember the list now of people, but I mean, Marilyn Monroe, of course, was there singing, and Margaret sang to him.
Okay.
Ed Sullivan was there. Jack Benny, George Burns, Peter Lawford sang to him. Because he was in the Kennedy family.
Yeah.
Jimmy Durante, Louis Armstrong. I mean, there's all these famous people.
Louis Armstrong.
And I'm like arm in arm with them.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I was just like, I was just like a big smile on my face. And I was so enamored. And then John Kennedy came down and walked in after it was all over, and Marilyn was closed the show, and she walked down and she walked up to him, and I'm literally I'm
10 for me,
shoulder to shoulder with
like
John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, you're standing next to the president of the United States,
even closer than we are.
Yeah,
and I could touch his shoulder.
Yeah,
and she's right here, not 3 feet in front of me, and he's saying, "Marilyn, thank you. Oh, that was wonderful." Down this big grin in his face, cigar in his hand. I'm going, "Oh boy." But he was such a charming man. He was just a really charming, had a great energy and smile. And that was my experience with Marilyn Monroe and John F. Kennedy.
And
by 6 months later, by the way, he was assassinated, right? Which I was watching on TV, and just all this flashback. I thought, oh my gosh. Yeah, I was part of history.
Well, you're part of history with the Marilyn Monroe singing to the president for his birthday, which is an iconic moment, which you're standing right there with him. And then later, of course, the president assassinated. Not long after this, we know Marilyn Monroe dies, and there's a lot of conspiracy that maybe she was killed by the CIA.
But from inside Hollywood, I think it's even more than conspiracy. It was quite obvious what was going on.
Pretty well know.
Yeah.
But so Paul, I mean, you can imagine this is a very iconic moment, and Craig just happens to be. You don't just happen to be in a moment like that. God has to put you there.
That's what I realized later. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, what are the odds? I'm just this little guy, this young, guy from Vero Beach, Florida, a little town. Came off a ranch as a cowboy. I mean, literally. And lifeguarding and working at a gator farm, and it's just here I am, 2 years later,
right?
With President John F. Kennedy
and Marilyn Monroe.
It's like, what? I mean, what? And of course, then then I went from there in '63. I stayed in New York for 5 years. In '66, I went to Hollywood because Broadway was getting difficult. I was a good singer. I was a good actor, but I didn't have that John Raitt voice, that I ended up doing Carousel, the lead in Carousel.
Wow.
Which he sang, but I couldn't sing like him. I couldn't hit those high baritone notes.
Right.
And you have to have that on Broadway. So a buddy of mine, Dan Keogh, was a friend of mine. I just said, well, let's get a car, drive out to Hollywood and take a shot at a TV movie career. And that's what we did in '66.
Wow.
January of '66. Yeah.
Paul, you have some more footage here of Craig.
Yeah, I guess I have. Let's see, what else do we have here?
I mean,
I was saying
he was the Winston man too. I don't know if we have that, but maybe Paul will show that in the editing of this. But
I was the Winston man,
not the Marlboro man, but you was the competition.
Right,
you were the Winston man.
Yeah, I was Winston. Well, Tom Selleck was doing Salem. Same company.
So Tom Selleck
was the picture of them. I was the picture of Salem of Winston.
Yep.
And that shot you'll see in there is from Playboy magazine, actually, full page.
Wow.
Playboy.
I'm not even going to ask. I'm not even going to ask anymore about that.
I don't.
You get a full page in Playboy. I'm scared.
By the way, I could have gone to Playboy Mansion many times, and I never did.
Yeah.
I think I just sensed that it was
not the right place
where I wanted to be going.
Not the right place. Yeah. All right, here we go.
So
Craig, we got? Go ahead, Paul.
So this one is one of the more iconic, which I mean, I feel like all age groups really have probably seen this or at least heard somebody quote this before. And this is Craig as a Grey Poupon man.
The finer things in life. Happily, some are affordable, like Grey Poupon Dijon mustard. Grey Poupon is so fine, it's even made with white wine. Its original French Dijon recipe adds distinctive flavor to beef, pork, and poultry, salad dressing and sauces, and of course, sandwiches. So enjoy one of life's finer pleasures.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon?
There it is.
But of course.
Grey Poupon. It even has wine.
I mean, that's a famous. I mean, I've seen that commercial. Of course, that was in 1981. And Heidi and I got married in 1982. So for the next 15 years, it seems like. I don't know how long that commercial ran.
It ran for 13 years.
Okay.
And for the audience, or for your audience, that is a long time to be an actor in a commercial, because we get paid to shoot and we get paid residuals every time it runs.
Yeah.
And now I won't go into that, but it's a sliding scale. And then every 2 years they have to renegotiate. Well, they kept renegotiating. I ended up, I probably made $250,000 off that one spot that I shot in one day.
Yeah.
And it kept running till my daughter was born, right as I did it. She was 13 when it stopped running.
So she sees it too.
Oh, her friends all in high school. Oh my God, your dad's a Grey Poupon, man. Oh, it's just so. And she's going, yeah. And so it was amazing how famous that became. And when I did it, when I auditioned, we had a row of chairs. Another guy and I went into the room. They do it on video, and there's the casting director. No producers, nobody. He's sitting there, I'm sitting there, and the line is, Craig, pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon? So I look at him, pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon? He says, oh, but of course. That's it. Thanks, bye. Well,
yeah,
I don't know, months later, they say, okay, you're hired, and I shoot it, and I'm thinking, I don't even know what this is. I've never heard of Grey Poupon mustard. So my mother's working in Publix down here in Florida, and I said, Mom, check the gondolas, see if there's any Grey Poupon there, because I don't see it in LA. So she looked and said, no. Well, about 6 months later, all of a sudden it came on the shelves. Now they sell like 50, 100 million bottles a year.
Amazing.
And it became so famous that it was just like weird. It was just really strange. I didn't even think they'd run it.
That commercial, of course, I think put Grey Poupon mustard on the map.
Oh, it did.
No doubt about it.
That was the first commercial, and it made them famous.
Yeah, and to this day, I love Grey Poupon. So
yeah,
I mean, you can use it with so many different things you want to eat.
That's what they say.
Believe it or not, and I grew up kind of poor too. Okay, so don't worry. So we had what's called hillbilly steak and bologna, fried bologna. Okay, so when you fry bologna and cheese,
we still eat it.
Okay, yeah, I do too. I do. Don't say nothing because I'm losing weight. I'm trying my best to stay.
My wife's laughing.
I don't want my wife to see this.
Stay away from that.
Yeah, I don't want my doctor to see this. But fried bologna on bread with cheese and Grey Poupon, it don't get no better. It just don't get no better than that.
Yeah. Well, and we just started having that again, a very high quality bologna, and putting cheese on it and having it like as a breakfast sauce.
Oh, I'm gonna go do that now.
My wife is a wonderful cook, so even bologna she makes good.
Oh man.
And we just, we love it. So and we use Grey Poupon too. We'll use, we use a spicy mustard on it.
So as that commercial happened, you are still doing other commercials.
Oh,
are you starting to get more opportunities? Did that kind of help jump your career, or your career was going pretty good though by the time that happened?
Right. Well, when I got to Hollywood, I did a show called The Fantastics. I was the lead singer. I did El Gallo, the lead in it. It was the most famous long-running off-Broadway show in history, still is. So it had been playing there a year. I took over the role. A producer came that was doing MAME. He's from Friar Car Harris, a big Broadway producer doing a movie at the 20th. And he came backstage and said, Craig, I love your work. I think you're very good. I think you can do well in Hollywood. And he said, I'm going to help you make something happen. And so he introduced me to Joyce Selznick at Paramount Studios, who's the head of new talent. That's David O. Selznick's niece, by the way. And she met me, loved me, and they put me under contract, a 5-year contract.
Wow.
I went from a gas station making $80 a week graveyard to $250 a week, hanging around stars, Clint Eastwood and all these big stars at Paramount Studios. I mean,
wow,
just like that.
Wow.
Everything turned around.
Yeah.
And so I started doing commercials when I was under contract. I did my first one, Pontiac cars. I was a girlfriend of mine went in to audition. I was just there with her, and the casting director came out and said, "Hey, you an actor?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You look right for the role. You want to audition?" Well, I did, and I got it. She didn't, and I went on to do 320 commercials over 40 years or something, 45, 50 years. I mean, it became a major part of my career.
Yeah.
It was the biggest moneymaker of my career, because doing movies, you get paid for, when you're not a star, you get paid, $10,000, $20,000, $40,000, something for
just for performing.
Right. Or a guest star. Then I'd only make $1,500, $2,000 or something. Well, next month, how do you pay your rent? I mean,
Right.
It just doesn't, unless you're a celebrity, you have a reoccurring role in a TV series, or you're a known person, a known entity. Commercials is where you make your money. And I made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And did a lot of commercials, and I was just blessed. Well, I got to work a lot. I was getting up and going in front of the camera and riding horses and doing pioneers, and I was just on rivers, and I was in Italy and France.
Wow.
And it was just
a
amazing.
blessing.
Just amazing. Yeah.
Hey, he was also on the famous show Dallas. Paul, you got a clip on this, because I mean, I remember watching the entire Dallas. I mean, it was a big deal. Who shot JR, that kind of thing. So you're in a scene here with Patrick Duffy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I play a senator.
You're a senator.
Actually.
Okay. Let's check this out.
I think a congressman or a senator, one of those corrupt people.
Maybe you should be in Washington now. I can replace some of those. Here we go.
Is this the right spot?
Yep, it is.
Okay. All right.
Ask me.
Figured bought you anything, Bobby?
Oh, come on, you guys. I've contributed a lot more to you boys over the years than a couple of free lunches.
Which we've always appreciated. But, Bobby, if it's got anything to do with that tanker spill in the Gulf, we can't touch it.
Ah, political dynamite.
I want to keep Cliff Barnes off of it.
Come on, Bobby. Cliff's been making a lot of noise in the papers lately and getting good
A
marks.
lot of people think very highly of Barnes, Bobby. He was head of the OLM. He did quit UN Oil. And he sounds like one hell of an ecologist, real caring.
The one and only thing that Cliff Barnes cares about is ruining Ewing Oil. If he gets on that committee, he's going to turn it into a witch hunt.
Bobby, that's hard to believe. You sure it's not Ewing Oil out to get Barnes?
You know, boys, I'm starting to think that maybe Ewing Oil's been backing the wrong horses in the Senate. We are not in the middle of the stream now. It might be a good time for a change.
You may be further in that stream than you think, Bobby. But like we said, it's political dynamite.
We'll try. No promises.
Wow.
Well, Craig,
Wow.
you're the most handsome guy in that scene.
He is. I mean,
Actually, you kind of got to look.
no wonder your wife.
Remember the
loves
guy's
you.
name?
Yeah, exactly. So my wife married me because I was a good-looking movie star. That's not true, by the way. She almost wouldn't date me because she knew I was an actor. They don't have the greatest reputation in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well,
really.
now she was I believe, an executive at Disney.
She was
yeah.
she was a producer, events coordinator for Disney for all their events worldwide. She worked with Mickey Mouse and all of them. She took the characters, dancers, singers all over the world, put on $1 million shows.
Wow.
Not Dubai.
She went to
In Dubai. She was there a couple of times. She was 23 years with Disney. Yeah, she was behind the camera, but quite something else. She was great at that. I didn't know her at that time, but she was, she was a big shot at Disney. They didn't pay her like a big shot, but
They should have. Yeah, they should have. That's right.
Well, of course not. Big corporation.
Disney's very cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta have another one here. One of the show. It's also very recognizable spot as a Gorton Fisherman as well.
Right. It's a famous song. Remember, trust the Gorton Fisherman.
I do.
And I ended up eating them a lot because I was an actor. Here we go.
Fish isn't the only thing I'm catching these days. Introducing Gorton's grilled filet meals. Perfectly grilled and seasoned fillets
my
with a
voice.
side
Your
of rice
voice,
and
right,
vegetables or crisp broccoli for a complete meal anytime. Gorton's new grilled filet meals.
Trust the Gorton's Fisherman.
You are the original. Yeah, so I just thought we'd give you a little bit of this interview. It's an incredible interview. And later in the interview, he begins to tell you about how he came to Jesus Christ, how the Lord saved him at the age of 80. And we're excited about the fact that he got saved and then, attending Freedom Fellowship here in the Villages. And he and his wife, they never miss a service. And just a great guy. I went golfing with him. He beat me. Okay. So there you go. I think he's 82. Went out and he can play. He's in incredible shape. He's an incredible athlete. You just interesting when you meet people who have been there, have seen a lot, experienced a lot. And at the same time, at the end of the day, where is your relationship with Jesus Christ? Do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? Have you been born again? Have you been washed in the blood of the Lamb? And I think that's what's so neat about Craig Lidler is that he's just honest. He's just one of these guys that grew up a small town boy who got an opportunity to be an actor for 50 years and play in a lot of different roles and shows and Broadway plays. And an incredible career. And then after he comes to the Villages, he begins, his wife said to him, I want to go to church. Would you go to church with me? She was a Christian. She loved the Lord. But when they moved to the Villages, she wanted to find a home church. And he said, sure. And came to the Villages. And, he's given his life to Christ. And it's just an incredible thing to meet people like this who are really cool. And we meet a lot of these folks. There's so many folks that love God. But boy, it's a miracle when someone at the age of 80 makes it to Christ. It's very rare that somebody at that age will be born again. But God can bring the Grey Poupon prophecy. Maybe. I think he says it's very prophetic. How in the world did he wind up here finding Jesus Christ? Guys, check out the entire interview at our podcast at the Paul Begley Podcast. Okay, the Paul Begley Podcast, pretty easy to find. It's here on YouTube. Just search in the search bar for the Paul Begley Podcast till you find it. Or you can go to Spotify, it's on there, or Amazon Music, or iHeartRadio, or on and on and on. I can't remember all the different places where podcasts are, but everywhere podcasts are, you'll find the Paul Begley Podcast, or you can watch it on the Paul Begley Podcast channel here on YouTube. If you do that, please subscribe. We need some subscribers and to put it over 1,000. We need to get to 1,000. All right, guys, it's Passover coming upon us. It's going to be an incredible time in the Passover. It's a time where God wants to send the 7 blessings that come to those who literally, guys, when you take the Passover, when you give your Passover offering, God opens up for you 7 blessings of the Passover. And I've shared that before, and many of you know that. But for some of you who may never have heard it, the 7 blessings of the Passover very simply are this. In Exodus chapter 23, God says, don't come empty-handed. Bring your offering. And guys, I say this, bring your best offering with your prayer request. And the Lord says, there's no set amount. It's up to each individual person where you are with God. If the Lord's blessed you with more, you give more. If you have less, you give less. But everyone gives their best. And with it, bring your prayer request and listen to what God says he'll do. Don't come empty-handed. He says that in verse 14 and 15. This is found in Exodus 23. But when you give your offering of the Passover, the first thing, you get 7 blessings. The first one is God assigns an angel to you. He says, behold, I send an angel before you. That's Exodus 23:20. Then the second thing God does, he says, he becomes an enemy against your enemies. God becomes an enemy against your enemies. The people who have been trying to hurt you, people who have been suing you, people who have been hating on you, folks that have tried to destroy you. God says no. He says, I will be an enemy to your enemies. He says that in Exodus 23, verse 22. Then God says, I will give you prosperity. Here's how he says it. So you shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your bread and your water. You can find that in verse 25 of the same chapter. Then in that same verse, he says, and the fourth blessing, I'll take away sickness from you. Here's how he says it. And I will take sickness away from the midst of you. That is your fourth blessing of the Passover offering. And then number 5, he says, I will give you a long life. And here's how he says it in verse 26. I will fulfill the number of your days. All right. And then the next blessing is, I will bring increase and inheritance. That's right. God will make sure you get your inheritance until you have increased and you inherit the land. This is found in verse 30. And then the seventh blessing of the Passover is God will make your enemies run. They'll turn their backs to you and run. God will run off your enemies. He will run off the devil. He'll run off the demons. He'll run off the adversaries. God is going to bless you. 7 blessings of the Passover. Praise God for that. It's in the word of the Lord. And you can give. Guys, it starts Saturday, April 12th through April 20th, but you can start giving now. And there's you can text give. Some people are doing it that way. You can just text your offering in the text give. Some folks want to just go to my website at paulbegleyprophecy.com or paulbegleyprophecy.org. Some folks want to pick up the phone and just want to call in their offering. Pick up the phone and call 765-414-2230. That's 765-414-2230. You can give your Passover offering and give your prayer request right there on the phone. Or you can send a check or money order or cash. You can send it in the mail with your prayer request that I'll take to Israel with me, hopefully later this year. And you just send it to Paul Begley Prophecy. That's Paul Begley Prophecy, 1048-B. That's 1048-B, Sagamore Parkway West. That's Sagamore Parkway West, Box 33, West Lafayette, Indiana. That's West Lafayette, Indiana, 47906. 47906. And we look forward to praying over your offering and praying over your prayer requests and taking them to Israel when we go, Lord willing. All right, guys, I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We may not have another Grey Poupon prophecy, but we'll certainly have more prophecies. There are things happening. Matter of fact, I just printed out an incredible situation that's developing. It's I'll be talking to Mike around the world about it tonight. There are things happening right now that is earth shattering, and I'm not joking when I say earth shattering. I'll be back, guys. Stay right here at this channel all day. I'll be here all day. There's more to report on. I'll see you. Plus tonight with Mike from around the world, and that will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Are you serious?